everyone to Today in the Scene by Indie Arcade Wave. I'm Joe, and I'm your host. Here on The Scene, we dive into what's happening in the arcade scene, from new indie arcade developers, arcade owners and operators, and news in the space. We're here to answer the question, is the arcade dead? And little spoiler on that, it definitely is not. So I'm part of the team that brought Galactic Battleground to the arcade space in 2017, and I've been involved in the indie arcade space ever since. And I'm ready to start talking about this week's episode. We've got another indie that I want to talk about. And I guess, did you know that South America has a bunch of indie games coming out? There's this awesome group down there, Videogamo. I've had them on a few times. It's Maximo and Hernan, and I believe Maximo's sister also helps with the project. But they're the developers behind NAVE and Dobotone, and they've got something new to show off today. So let's get them in here and talk about what the scene is like down in Argentina. How are you guys doing?
Hey.
Hello, Joe.
What's up?
Hey, I'm glad you guys got on here. We've been talking for a little while. It's finally working out. And I'm pretty excited. I'm just going to let everybody that's watching know, I only got like one video of this game from Maximo, or from Hernan, but I'm about it. It looks really cool, and Dylan was in New York when they were showing this off, and he said that it was a good game. So we're going to find out what's going on with that. So let's just jump into intros. Like, who's Maximo, who's Hernan, and what are you guys doing?
I'm Maximo. I'm mostly the technical guy on Videogamo. I'm in charge of programming, electronics, manufacturing there with the CNC, and also like a general game design together with Hernan.
Hello, I'm Hernan Saez, also part of Videogamo. I mainly focus on graphics and general design, being the software or the external hardware, shape of the machines and stuff. So thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I guess the reason we're here is to talk about Gol-E-Gol. So let's I guess I don't really have any background on it that much. So what is Gol-E-Gol, and why did you guys make it?
Gol-E-Gol is basically a video arcade football table, as we call it, for digital football. It's basically a cocktail arcade table, but you control like in the same way you control football, and it's a football with a twist and turns that video games can give to the game. And we developed it mainly last year in 5 or 4 months, as we were invited by NYU Game Center, by the curator of No Quarter. There is Marie Fulton. She invited us to make a new game. They commissioned us a new game, and we had this idea for 4 or 5 years. We only had like this football, but with a screen that is called Gol-E-Gol, and that's all we had. We've been working on Dobotone, on the final version, the commercial version of Dobotone. So we haven't had a new project for many years since we got this opportunity, and we said, okay, this idea, Gol-E-Gol, is the idea that fits the No Quarter showcase. So we started working on it, and that's basically the story of how we are. And we presented it last November at NYU Game Center in Brooklyn. We made the game and traveled with it, showcased it, and then we brought it back.
So what was it like working on that game, Maximo? Like, Hernan kind of told us like what was going on with it, and you said you do more like the technical cutting stuff. What was it like to finally work on that game that I'm assuming you guys shelved for a couple years? You're finally like, I get to work on this one now. What was that like?
Yes, the idea was very loose, so like we never had time to decide. Okay, to think before this how we will look, or we just from the technical point, a couple of times I thought, okay, how can we do the basic controlling of the rods, and so before this, someday I had the idea of using uh, a mouse for the sensing of the rod, and when they invited us and we had to decide which game we were going to be working, uh, we said, okay, let's try this idea of detecting the rods with a mouse in each rod, and let's see if it works, if the lag is good, decent, or is something that um, we don't like, because if that doesn't work, and we have to figure out another way of doing it, we would probably take us too much time, and we don't know if we're gonna get it on time. So that was one of the first things that we started doing, was doing some mock-ups of one rod with the sensors, and some super simple software ball, like a player that was a box and a ball, and we started testing it, and then we thought that it was good, that there wasn't the lag was just super small, so and there were things we could do to improve it. So when we had that, we said, okay, we can start working. We can go through the Gol-E-Gol way, and it had its issues because we had to build it and travel to New York with the machine, and that was gonna be definitely something, a challenge, and it was. We suffered. We had to take it. We put it in 3 boxes and take it with us on the plane, and it almost didn't fit on the police scanners, and well, it was gonna be a mess if we couldn't get it to New York. But luckily, it all went well, and it was super exhausting. It was like a big project, and we always want to finish with an arcade, or with a project that looks good, with and that takes time. So it was, we were working a lot on the game, and even until the last minute before the event started, or even a few minutes after the event started, we were still working on it. But we were happy on how we managed to do it, and how it looks, and how it works. There's still a lot of things to work on it, on the software side, and some things on the hardware side, but we're really happy with it.
Yeah, that sounds like a very relatable story of getting the cabinet, traveling with it, even though I'm going to say it's much easier for me since we just throw it in a trailer. You guys had to fly it. But, you know, that nerve of having the cabinet and then having to move it somewhere, set it up, hope it works, and then I feel like every time we've taken the game, or when we were first showing it off, taking it to a convention, Kelly always had to pull out the keyboard and like do some coding because something wasn't working perfectly. But I'm glad it worked, and you guys got to show it off, and you guys got to hang out with the New York indie arcade scene, which is massive. I mean, those guys at Death by Audio and Wonderville are awesome people, and they have just like so many games in there. What was it like to hang out with such a big indie scene in New York?
Well, it was amazing. We've known Mark for several years. We Since we made NAVE, that last year turned 10 years old. We've been connected with the arcade scene internationally because it's super small. So we knew Mark for a long time. They have a Dobotone there in Wonderville, one version of Dobotone. So we have this connection, but we never been like in the presenting or showing a new game, and the scene being there, and also the Bumblier people, which we also knew through Killer Queen and Nave and Dobotone. it was great, and we had the chance to also to go to Wonderville to play all the games they have there. They have like 20 or plus, and we knew them. We also watch Indie Arcade Way, so we know about all the games that are out there in the States. And this was a great opportunity to once more like meet all together and make also stronger connections. We're friends, so it was really great to be there and also be able to try all the games that are there in New York.
Yes, I was too exhausted, so I didn't have the chance to go to Wonderville this time. I was a few years ago, but uh, after all the work from Gol-E-Gol, I just had to rest. So I couldn't go to Wonderville on this trip.
Yeah, I mean, at least you got to hang out with the scene, at the presentation, and you got to meet some people there. I know Dylan got to finally meet you guys, which was awesome. He works on Galactic Battleground with me, for anybody that doesn't know.
Yeah.
And it's cool that the community is like starting to grow back together a little bit since everything just stopped. Like we just had that couple years where it was just so quiet. And I guess that kind of brings me into the next question, which is, I've had a lot of time with the scene in the US and a lot of the developers and stuff here. There seems to be a scene budding in Argentina. I know Hernan keeps sending me new games that people are making. And I know you've got a connection with somebody in Uruguay too who made Yell. I already spoke with him. And I just want to know what it's like for you guys to see the scene popping up in Argentina. In my eyes, you guys are kind of like the ambassadors of the scene because, you started NAVE over 10 years ago and Dobotone is now growing and you've got Gol-E-Gol. So what is it like to see that scene grow out there for you guys?
Uh, well, it's amazing. We started making arcade games because we love the idea of going to a place and being able to play a game and maybe listening that a new game is out there, but then actually walking into a place and seeing the game there. So what we what we did with Nave and what we love of the games we've made, it's the same that happens with all the other arcade developers, not only in Argentina, but specifically in Argentina. So it's amazing to be able to play other people's games. Uh, I always say that if you want some reality to happen, like an arcade scene reality or whatever, you have to at least try to create it yourself. So we have here in Argentina there are a lot of colleagues like Tumba Games, Chiti Games, Jupitron, Waman Studios, like many Little Nando with Thunderbolt, that it's a new game that just came out. So for us, it's great because it's not that we're the only ones making this; it's other people, and so we kind of we can live in a reality here in Argentina where arcades are alive, arcade machines are there, and new games coming out. So and the community is great. Here in Argentina, there's not only the arcade scene, but there's also like a big chiptune scene, a demo scene that they make stuff with the Amiga 500 or 500, the Commodore 54. There's also like a big hacktivist movement, recycling all computers and giving them away to people that need them. So it's a really big community. So we're super happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, one thing that happens right now is that, as you said, that with the COVID and all these years, is that it suddenly like slowed down a lot, and no, and I think it's starting to start again. It's awesome that Little Nando has this new game Thunderbolt, and so we got new addition that makes people wanting to put the game again on showing it in different places. So I think that is good, but that the scene is good, but we need to pass this COVID bump and to make it flourish again.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what's to come from you guys and what's to come from the Argentina scene, because I mean, I didn't know about any of like the Commodore 64 stuff or like any of the older systems that are being redone. And I know, I guess this is probably a while ago. I just want to ask about it. What do you guys know about the bus of indie games that travel all over South America? I know Hernan sent me the video a long time ago. Are those games still available? Can people find those?
The bus was a project that was made for a documentary. There's a documentary series that it's called Video Games on Wheels, Videojuegos sobre Ruedas. You can find it on YouTube. And so we had this idea of putting many of these arcades on a school bus and setting all the school bus inside as an arcade, so we could like stop by in any town or whatever and let people play with the game. So after the that was right before the pandemic, and then the pandemic started, so that project stopped completely. Some of those games are still available, some are not. Some cabinets changed into a different game. Some of the developers use the same cabinet for different projects. So we have all kinds of situations with those games. Some of them are more available than others, but the developers are still there, and we still hang out and make stuff, and new stuff appear. Not only, for example, there's also like weird stuff. For example, like there's a mechanical game, not with not a little electricity. There's also that kind of stuff, like the old mechanical arcade. So after that bus thing, these new things started to appear. So, but yeah, here in those games available, there are like two pinballs. There's also like a traditional football, but with the players are like in different shapes. So the ball plays differently. Some things start popping up, but the bus, that bus, the stopped. But we were talking because of a friend, one of the developers, Pontura from Tumba Games. He now moved to a house in some a place that there are some islands. So we were talking about making something similar, but with a boat instead of a bus. So that would be like the second stage of that moving arcade thing. We'll see. It's a dream, but same thing happened with this. It's a dream that we had, but then we had the opportunity to present it for a documentary, and that happened. So that's how things are, like in a general way.
Yeah, you never know until you try, right? You might as well just give it a go and see what happens. I guess the last question I had for you guys was, I'm going to send this one to Maximo first. What's the future of Videogamo look like? Like, what are you guys working on, and what are your plans for the future?
Right now, after we came back, we had to decide where we would continue to be working, because before Gol-E-Gol, we were working on Dobotone, on making the commercial version to sell to bars, arcades, and companies or whatever. And we have been working on that for a while. It's taking us a while to make a proper version that doesn't break, or that it's not super hard to repair or that kind of stuff. But with this new the thing happening about Gol-E-Gol, we finally decided that it was going to be easier for us to make and try to make a commercial version of Gol-E-Gol first, because it's also easier for the concept. If it's easier to understand for bars or arcades of Dobotone, of Gol-E-Gol and Dobotone, that it's a kind of hybrid thing between a console and arcade. So yes, we're right now we're aiming at working on Gol-E-Gol, doing this version that we presented on NYU, making it a proper passing this prototype phase and try to make it things solid again for so it doesn't break or it's easy to change things. And so right now, yes, that's the our near future is working on this version of Gol-E-Gol too, so we can sell it.
Awesome. I love it. I love to hear that you guys have plans for the future and you were working on Dobotone. I hope to see a final version of that soon because I want to see that in way more arcades than just Wonderville. And that seems like a fairly easy sell to me. It's, it's a party game. It's smaller. It's more modular. You can put it somewhere. But I guess that's really all I had for you guys. So I guess we'll do social media shout outs so that you guys can tell people where to follow your journey. And that'll be it. So who wants to do social medias?
Okay, for Videogamo, you can find us at Instagram with at Videogamo.inc. Also on Twitter with at Videogamo, like video game with an O at the end. And then you can find the hashtags of our games both on Instagram and Twitter. That is hashtag NAVE Arcade or NAVE Arcade. Hashtag Dobotone, Dobotone, hashtag Gol-E-Gol, and that's basically it. You can also find us on Facebook. You can look for NAVE Arcade or Dobotone or Videogamo. So that's basically all the handles. And then my own is at HSA at HSAEZHH Saez, and then Maximo's. It's
mine is Maxiborga, is MAXIBORGA at Twitter.
Yes. If you look on our Twitter profile, you can find our stuff. Maximo posts stuff of his work, so it's really cool to see.
Awesome. I'm going to throw all that down in the description so people can find it, check you guys out, follow what you're doing, check out Gol-E-Gol, Dobotone, Nave, all that fun stuff, and just keep up with the Argentina indie arcade scene and I guess other video game scenes that you guys have down there. I just want to say thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate it. I love talking about new games. It's always exciting to see something new in the indie space, and I'm excited to see what comes in the future. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. And for anybody that's still watching, thank you for checking us out. If you like what we're doing here at Indie Arcade Wave, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It helps us a ton. The wave will just keep growing, and we can all ride it together. Thank you for checking us out. And until next time, peace.
Bye.
All right. Thanks.